Do you have a morning routine? You always hear about people talking about having a morning routine, and I think depending on the season of your life, that sort of determines whether it sounds like a great idea or whether it sounds absolutely impossible. I know for me, I guess in a way I'm sort of lucky because horses kind of end up enforcing a morning routine. Like they have an expectation of what time they get fed and all that kind of stuff. So you end up over the years having at least that much routine in your life with horses. But what I've found the last few years is I've been really trying to make an effort to kind of maybe improve my morning routine a little bit. Like one of the things I used to do was I would get up in the morning, make a cup of coffee, flip open a laptop, and start, looking at the news of the world. And I've come to realize that reading about war and pestilence first thing in the morning is probably not a great way to start your day. And so I stopped doing that, and I would just come directly out to feed the horses and give them their hay, I should say. And then I would go home, make my coffee, then read a little bit about war and pestilence, And I stopped doing that too. And I used to have a yoga practice sporadically. And what I decided to do in the last year was in between the time where I give them their hay and when I give them their grain, now I do this yoga practice. And it's just fantastic. Right? So I make my coffee and then I sit here and I do the yoga thing. I just love it, to be honest with you. Like I think yoga, I always say yoga is kind of like a gateway drug for meditation, because if you've never done any meditation before, it can kind of be hard to get into that. But boy, it can really feel great when you're really quiet by yourself. It gives you that sort of chance to reflect a little bit, and kind of the next step could be almost getting into a meditative state. Now I know that's absolutely impossible for lots and lots of people, because if you've got kids running around or a whole bunch of activity in the house, it can be crazy. So I recognize how lucky I am, and I'm really grateful for it too, that I've got this quiet time in the morning where I can do that. And in the winter time sometimes it's a little tough to come out because it's dark and cold, but that's offset by one of my favorite things in life, which is really juvenile, but there's nothing I love better than turning the lights on and all of their little heads come out and they all are blinking like little babies. Like, how little babies do that when they first turn the bright lights on. I don't know why it never gets old for me. I just love that. And then as the days get longer, like right now when you come out, my gosh, the sun's sometimes already starting to come up by the time I come out. The sun's coming up around 5:30 now. So oft times, by the time I'm in the lounge doing my yoga, by the time I finish the practice, the sun is up and blaring into my eyes, so it's pretty awesome. But I really recommend it if you can. Like yoga is great for you because it's such a great thing to stretch things out. Like I've noticed that a lot. I went through a period where I wasn't able to ride, and getting back into yoga really helped a lot, because you don't, if you don't use those muscles all the time, for me anyway, they seize up, so it's been really good in that way. But I also just find that chance to reflect and to think a little bit about stuff, that's really, really helpful, I think. Anyway, I don't know, it's up to you. I thought if you have an opportunity and your life is such that you can find that kind of time, I really recommend it, even if it means getting up a little bit earlier so you have a bit of quiet time in the morning. I think it's really worth it. Anyway, that's it for this week. If you're watching this anywhere besides at our blog, which is at ismyhorsehappy.com, go on over there, scroll down, leave me a message. Let me know what your morning routine is like, if you have one or if you're working on creating one. I have a nighttime routine too, but sometimes it just involves watching the sunset. We'll talk about that another day. Thanks. Remember to thank your horse, and we'll talk to you soon.